Detach and take your power back. Let's start with something most people never realize until it's too late. Your life becomes peaceful not when everything around you changes, but when you stop being controlled by everything around you. Think about how much of your peace depends on others. One text message can ruin your day. One silent treatment can make you question your worth. One rumor, one argument, one cold look. And suddenly your entire mood collapses. You start replaying words, overanalyzing moments, building stories in your head. Not because of what happened, but because of what you attached your peace to. That's the trap most people never escape. They confuse love with attachment. They confuse power with control. They confuse reaction with strength. But real strength, real freedom, real peace, it begins with detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care so deeply that you refuse to let anyone destroy your inner balance. It means you can feel everything, but still choose calm. It means you can love people without needing them to behave a certain way. Because the moment you let go of needing anything external to feel complete, you become untouchable. Detach and take your power back. Let's start with something most people never realize until it's too late. Your life becomes peaceful not when everything around you changes, but when you stop being controlled by everything around you. You don't. And the moment you believe you do, you've handed your peace away. Imagine this. Someone you care about doesn't reply to your message. You tell yourself it's fine, but your chest feels heavy. You check their profile. You start wondering if they're mad, if you said something wrong, if they've moved on. And suddenly, your happiness, your confidence, your mood, it's all in someone else's pocket. That's not love. That's dependency disguised as emotion. The truth is, attachment grows from fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of being unseen. It tells you that if you let go, you'll lose something essential, but you won't. You'll lose your chains. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who never care. They're the ones who can care without clinging. They can walk away from noise without bitterness. They can say, I love you, and still mean, I'll be fine without you. That's what emotional maturity looks like. The art of letting people be wrong. There's a special kind of peace that comes when you stop trying to convince people of who you are. Most people live in emotional chaos because they constantly fight to be understood. They argue with people who already decided to misunderstand them. They write long messages to prove their point. They explain their side of the story to people who never cared to listen. And what happens? You drain your energy. You feed your frustration. You give your peace to people who don't deserve it. Sometimes silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't have to defend your truth in every argument. You don't have to prove your goodness to those committed to seeing you as the villain. Let them be wrong. Let them talk. Let them create their version of you. Because the people who truly know you, they don't need explanations, and the people who don't won't believe them anyway. There was a man once accused of betraying a friend. He could have shouted, argued, posted, proved his innocence. But he stayed silent. Months later, the truth surfaced, and everyone who doubted him learned something powerful. Silence speaks when words are wasted. So the next time someone misunderstands you, don't beg for their clarity. Protect your peace instead. Detachment creates power. Detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. When you stop reacting, people start revealing who they really are. Because your silence makes them face themselves. They can't manipulate you because you're not giving them emotional fuel. They can't control you because you don't play their game anymore. There's power in mystery. There's power in calm. Imagine two people arguing. One is loud, emotional, desperate to win. The other stays quiet, steady, observing. Who has the power? Not the loud one. It's the calm one. Because calmness is control. One woman learned this the hard way. She used to beg for attention, chase explanations, write endless paragraphs just to be heard. Then one day she stopped. She realized that whoever needs to explain the most often holds the least power. From that day forward, she chose silence. Not because she stopped caring, but because she finally started caring about herself more. And something magical happened. People who used to ignore her started seeking her energy again. Because when you stop chasing, your presence becomes magnetic. Emotion. Without reaction. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you no longer let feelings control your actions. Think of your emotions like waves. They rise, they crash, they pass. But if you let every wave pull you under, you'll drown. Detachment is learning to surf, not sink. A man once told a story about being insulted by his boss in front of everyone. He wanted to scream, but instead, he paused. He took one deep breath and simply said, "Thank you for your feedback." Weeks later, the same boss apologized privately, admitting he had been stressed. Everyone else noticed how calm the man stayed, and his reputation quietly grew. When you can stay calm in chaos, you instantly separate yourself from 99% of people. Because most are ruled by emotion. Few are guided by awareness. So next time someone tries to provoke you, pause. Your silence is your sword. Your composure is your armor. How to build detachment daily. You don't wake up detached one morning. It's a discipline, built moment by moment. Start small. When your phone buzzes, don't rush to answer. When someone posts something passive-aggressive, don't engage. When a problem appears, don't overthink. Breathe first, act later. Every time you delay a reaction, you train your power. Practice observing your emotions. Instead of saying, "I'm angry," say, "Anger is present." That one sentence changes everything. Because now you are observing your mind instead of being trapped inside it. Detachment grows when you give space between emotion and action. That space, that pause, is where strength lives. Think of your peace like a sacred flame. The world will try to blow it out with gossip, drama, rejection, and chaos. But you must guard it. Protect it from small people with loud opinions. Protect it from moments that don't deserve your reaction. The stronger your detachment, the brighter your flame burns. Love without obsession. Most people love to possess, not to understand. They say, "I love you," when they really mean, "I need you." But love that depends on control always collapses. True love breathes. It doesn't grip. It doesn't demand. It doesn't need proof every second to feel secure. There was a couple once, deeply in love, but one of them constantly needed reassurance. "Do you still love me? Why didn't you text me back? Who were you talking to?" It wasn't love speaking, it was fear, and that fear slowly suffocated what was once beautiful. Real love allows space. It allows silence. It allows individuality. You can love someone and still let them be free. You can care without needing control. You can give affection without demanding constant attention. When you love from peace, not from fear, your relationships become lighter. And people are drawn to you, not because you chase them, but because your calm becomes rare. You were never in control anyway. The hardest lesson of all, control is an illusion. We spend our lives trying to make people stay, trying to make outcomes perfect, trying to control what others think of us. But the truth is, we were never in control. We were only reacting to what we couldn't accept. You can't control who loves you. You can't control how life unfolds. You can't control the storms that come. But you can always control how you stand in the rain. There was a man who lost everything: job, partner, direction. For months, he fought reality, until one day he said to himself, "Maybe life isn't ending. Maybe it's just redirecting me." He stopped resisting and started trusting. And in that surrender, he found peace again. When you realize you were never in control, you stop clinging, stop forcing, stop chasing. You start flowing. And in that flow, you become unstoppable. Peace is the new power. Peace is not found by fixing everything around you. It's found by mastering everything within you. When you stop reacting, life becomes quieter. And in that quiet, your real strength appears. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to fight for respect. You don't need to chase validation. You just need to stand in your stillness and let the noise fade. Because when you no longer need to react, you become powerful beyond measure. When you no longer need control, you gain real control. And when you no longer beg for peace, peace finds you. So from this moment on, stop giving away your energy to things that don't matter. Stop trying to be understood by those who never listen. Stop letting temporary emotions destroy permanent peace. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Stay detached. Because once you master emotional detachment, nothing and no one can control you again.